You are Locked On Buffaloes POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, you cannot win them all, as the Colorado Buffaloes, unfortunately, losing to the Kansas Jayhawks. Your final score this afternoon, 37-21. Colorado falls to 8-3 on the season, 6-2 in the conference. Kansas 5-6 on the year, 4-4 in the conference. Welcome on in to your Locked On Buffs Postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. Hope Buff Nation is hanging in there after a tough loss where Kansas just ran the ball down CU's throat. There's no other way to really slice it. We'll get into this all throughout the course of the game. Drop some comments. Let me know your thoughts, of course. But a tough loss for the Colorado Buffaloes, as now they're going to likely need some help, folks, if they want to get into that Big 12 championship game. They want to make that college football playoff. They're probably going to need some help in order to, accomplish all of those goals. But today's episode of your Locked On Buffs Postcast is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. But guys, that is a tough way to lose a game. We got the first comment of the day. My boy Danny Bailey says, bummer. Hey, we had a good time here at number 38, though. We had a great time here at number 38. We had DJ Fedora, who's still spinning on the ones and twos here to my right. And the Buffs just unable to get it done, man. Just unable to get it done. Again, your final score, 37-21. And where do we go from here, right? Because we knew that if Colorado was going to try to make the Big 12 championship game, if they were going to try to make the college football playoff, then they were going to essentially have to win the rest of their games. That was going to be the recipe for success for Colorado. Now, are they completely down and out after losing this game to Kansas today? No. It's not the end of the season by any stretch of the imagination, but the path now gets a little bit blurrier for the Colorado Buffaloes. But I think the biggest thing for me, man, and look, I don't want to say I called this by any stretch of the imagination. I had Colorado winning this game. I was worried a little bit about Kansas, though, considering how they played that spoiler role, taking down Iowa State, taking down BYU, and now, like I said, it's like that Grim Reaper meme. They were knocking on the door. The CU was next, and, a pretty non-competitive game, I would say, from the Colorado Buffaloes. And I know that they were in this one at some point or another, but the final score, man, 37-21, Kansas just absolutely was the better team today. And there's really nothing else that you can really say about it. Jalen Daniels was absolutely electric. Devin Neal was absolutely electric. The Colorado Buffaloes just did not have an answer for the Kansas Jayhawks rushing attack. Shedeur Sanders in the offense as well held in check a little bit. They put up 21 points, but for Shedeur and Travis and LaShante and Will Shepherd, we're more so accustomed to these big explosion type of games offensively. And that's just not what we got today from the Colorado Buffaloes. So, a disappointing game. Go ahead and drop some comments, guys. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Do you think CU can still make the college football playoff? Do you still think that CU can make this Big 12 championship game? Arizona State, I should probably check that. I know they were winning big time. Let's see here. Yeah, they take down a lot. It was a closer game than I thought, but they take down BYU, hand them their second loss of the season. So that's the thing now, man. You've got Arizona State at 9-2 with a better record now than CU, who's now at 8-3. They're going to need some help, and maybe this BYU loss ends up helping out Colorado a little bit. That remains to be seen, but man, it just feels like the Colorado Buffaloes let one get away from them today. And like I said, you got to give credit where credit is due. Kansas came in. They were ready to play. They've been a good team the last handful of weeks, and they played like the better team today. You got to tip your cap a little bit here to the Kansas Jayhawks. They get the job done against the Colorado Buffaloes. But like I said, guys, go ahead and drop some comments for me. Shedeur Sanders today, he was good. 23 for 29, 266 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. You'll take that any day of the week if you're the Colorado Buffaloes. The rushing attack was essentially non-existent today. Shedeur Sanders, believe it or not, was the Buffs' leading rusher. He had 4 carries for 26 yards. Isaiah Augusta only 2 carries for 11 yards. And look, I've been a big proponent. If you've watched any of these Locked On Buffs postcasts, you know that I've talked about how critical the running game is to at least get established to try to open up the passing game for CU, but they just did not have an opportunity to do that because it seemed like before you could even blink, Kansas was up 17-0. They were up 10-0 after the first quarter, and it felt like a game. I hate to say it because I was walking around here at number 38 for our Mile High Sports watch party, talking to everybody about it's early. This team's going to get back into it. But in hindsight, which is always 2020, CU was dead from the moment this game started. CU was dead from the moment this game started. And as good as Shedeur is, as good as Travis is, as good as the wide receiver room is, they were not good enough to crawl this Buffs team out of the hole. And again, a lot of this goes on the defense. And look, I don't care if it's the offense, the defense, whatever the problem is. They simply were not good enough. In a week where you get Julian Lewis, one of the top prospects in all of high school football, to commit to Coach Prime and to commit to Colorado to be the quarterback of the future just a few days ago, like 48 hours ago, and to lay an egg like you did today and see it all kind of blow up in front of your face. And again, I'm not saying this season's over. I'm not saying the season's over whatsoever, but this was a game, knowing that you had Oklahoma State in the final game of the season. This is a game you had to have. And now it's no longer completely in your control. And that's the reality of the situation. I'm very curious as to what Coach Prime, what the players have to say after a disappointing loss today, but they were simply just beat on offense, beat on defense, beat on special teams. And now we'll see where Colorado goes here. Obviously next week, Black Friday, against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, with an opportunity to try to make a statement to the committee before the regular season comes to a close and hopefully, try to salvage and continue along with what has been a very special season. Before I hit my first break, I'll tell you what my boy Danny Bailey told me. He's our producer here at Mile High Sports, our executive producer, and a CU alum. Look, I know there's a lot of Coach Prime fans out there. I know there's a lot of fans, and I'm not taking this away from you at all. Like, I know there's a lot of fans that jumped on the bandwagon the last few years because of Coach Prime and whatnot. But relative to what Colorado has been the last 2 decades, this is still the most successful season they've had in nearly 10 years. And I'm not trying to, write my obituary or anything like that, but this was a tough loss for the Colorado Buffaloes. There's no other way to slice it. You still got to be happy. You still got to be proud about how they've played throughout the body of work this season. But today, unable to get the job done as they fall to the Kansas Jayhawks 37-21. Lot to break down, man. We knew that Jalen Daniels, I was expecting more from the defense, and specifically the defensive line. Trying to put pressure on Jalen Daniels. They were unable to do that today. And it's not like Jalen Daniels had a big game in the pocket throwing the ball, where Kansas absolutely carved up the CU team was in the rushing attack. They absolutely dominated Colorado in the rushing game today. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. We'll see how Colorado can try to bounce back here in their next game and try to finish this regular season strong and try to make a case here to the committee. We got a comment from Brooklyn Boyd. It says 1-11 to 4-8 to 8-3. It's only up from here. I'm proud of everybody's SCO Buff. And that's the thing. If we're going to take the 5280 point of view, right, the mile high above sea level point of view, that is absolutely the right take. Like I just said a moment ago, relative to what Colorado football has been this century, this is their most successful season. And I know they had Mike McIntyre back, was that 2016, 2015? They had a fun season, made a bowl game, right? That was great. But what Colorado has been able to do this season has been nothing short of spectacular, regardless of the loss today. And again, I know the haters are probably out there like, it was only a matter of time, whatever it might be. This is still a tremendous season for the Colorado Buffaloes, regardless of what happens, regardless of the bowl game, regardless of the Big 12 championship game, regardless of the college football playoff. It's a great season. But the fact of the matter is as well that the Colorado Buffaloes blew an opportunity today. There's no other way to slice it. I mean, this is a game that were favorites, the betting favorite in this game, right around -2.5. They were expected to win this game. and they were unable to do so as they fall to the Kansas Jayhawks today, 37-21. All right, let's hit our first break. When we come back, we'll continue along the conversation. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Drop some comments. Let me know how you're feeling out there, Buff Nation, as the Colorado Buffaloes unfortunately losing to the Kansas Jayhawks this afternoon. Back in just a moment, I'm Aniello Piro. This is your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Stick with us. Drop some comments. Let me know how you're feeling. Back in just a moment. All right, you guys, let me pull this up real quick. All right, there we go. Let me tell you about our friends over at Game Time, folks, because there is simply no better place to watch and get your tickets than our friends over at Game Time. As, I'm sorry, I had my buddy throwing the deuces sign up to me here. Okay, I got distracted. Let me start that over. 3, 2, 1. Guys, if you're not getting your tickets with our friends over at Game Time, I don't know what to tell you, because Game Time is absolutely positively the place to get all of your tickets when it comes to sporting events, concerts, comedy, theater, all that good stuff. And guys, Game Time Picks lets you filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Let me tell you about some of my favorite options with Game Time, guys. I just told you about Game Time Picks for creation. Makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. You can also, my personal favorite feature is their all-in pricing. When you toggle this feature on their website or on their app, it shows you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Plus, you can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy with their seat viewer. Plus, the lowest ticket price guarantee, where Game Time will credit you not just 100% of the difference, but 110% of the difference. And your purchase is covered by the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms, they do apply. Again, create an account and redeem with code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. And guys, I'm an active Game Time user. I used Game Time earlier this year to score some Billy Joel tickets at Coors Field. And, put the tickets in the cart, use the code. I got myself a nice little discount. So again, guys, use that code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms, they do apply. But again, Locked On College is the code to use. Let them know that Locked On Buffs sent you. All right, you guys, welcome on back into your Locked On Buffaloes postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Hanging in there, rather, I should say, as the Colorado Buffaloes, unfortunately today, falling to the Kansas Jayhawks. Your final score, 37-21. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm sure you can in the background. We got DJ Fedora spinning on the ones and the twos. He's doing his thing. And it was a great turnout here at number 38. An absolutely incredible turnout. Unfortunately, the Colorado Buffaloes unable to get the job done. But let's talk about this Kansas rushing attack, as Jalen Daniels and Devin Neal absolutely carved up the Buffs the Buffs defense, Kansas offense ran up the score today. 37 points for KU. And they scored in every single quarter in this game. 10 points in the first, 13 points in the second, a touchdown in the third, and a touchdown in the fourth to put the game on ice. That's how you get to your 37 points here for the Kansas Jayhawks. But Jalen Daniels, not exactly lighting the world on fire from the passing department. He was 14 for 21, 189 passing yards and a touchdown. But Devin Neal, along with Jalen Daniels in the rushing attack, is where Kansas's bread was buttered. Devin Neal, 37 carries for 207 rushing yards. And let me say that again. 37 carries for 207 passing yards for Devin Neal. That's just not going to win you any games here if you're CU's defense at the end of the day, man. Jalen Daniels adds 6 carries for 72 yards. And real quick, DB, go say what's up to my boy Byron over there real quick. My boy Byron's over there. Sorry, I have a buddy who's waiting for me to get off the stage, and so I'm trying to tell Danny to go talk to him and keep him busy so I can go say what's up to him after the game. My super producer, Danny Bailey. Look, go talk to him. So, at the end of the day, sorry, I'm getting chirped left and right. This is what happens when you do a live audience here on the Locked On Buffs postcast. And at the end of the day, like I said, Devin Neal and Jalen Daniels just carved this CU rushing defense apart. CU rushing defense apart. Again, 37 carries for 207 yards for Devin Neal and 6 carries for 72 yards for Jalen Daniels. And the real discrepancy in this game is 300 and oh my gosh, this hurts me to say. This really hurts me to say. 331 rushing yards for Kansas's offense compared to just 42 rushing yards for the Colorado Buffaloes. That's embarrassing. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And again, like I'm one that doesn't love to go too harsh on the Buffaloes. That's embarrassing. That's something that if you're CU and if you're Coach Prime and if you're Robert Livingston, who I've given his flowers all throughout the course of the season, I think Robert Livingston has been incredible as a defensive coordinator for this team. But how do you even allow that to happen? 331 to 42? I mean, that's almost unbelievable. That's hard to believe. And here's the other thing is Kansas just dominated this game. 520 yards of total offense compared to CU's 308. And 308 yards of total offense is not awful. It really isn't. But when the opposing team has 520 yards of offense, I mean, you're living on the prayer to try to win these games. And that's what happened for Colorado. They were living on a prayer, and they were unable to get the job done as well in this game. Also, I mean, just look at the discrepancy, guys. 40 minutes and 11 seconds time of possession. I mean, hold on. Let me confirm this. That seems insane to me. But it is true. I mean, I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was this bad. See, Kansas had the ball for 40 minutes and 11 seconds. You know how much time CU had the ball for? Not even 20 minutes. 19 minutes and 49 seconds. I mean, CU got straight up beat down today. 29 first downs for Kansas compared to only 15 for CU. And I'm looking at the pie here on my box score. I mean, Kansas had essentially 75%, had the ball for essentially 75% of the game. Oof. Tough. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Drop some comments. Let me know how you're feeling out there. We got a comment here. You know what I just noticed? This is the second year a team setting a record against the Prime era. First, it was Stanford. Now it's Kansas. Absolutely. And it was wide receiver for Kansas, Kobe Bryant, that came out, I think it was yesterday, saying he's had this matchup circled, on his calendar for a long, long time, trying to make a statement against Travis Hunter and company. And that's exactly what the Kansas Jayhawks did this afternoon. So again, I've said it a few times now, you've got to tip your cap to the Colorado Buffaloes, or to the Kansas Jayhawks, as they absolutely just beat down the Colorado Buffaloes today. And that's really all she wrote. So why don't I hit my final break? When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show. Let me know your guys' thoughts. We'll go over some of CU's limited offensive stats and get you guys on your way here on this Locked On Buffs postcast. Back in just a moment, folks. Hey. All right, you guys. Let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel real quick. If I can find it over there. There it is. And guys, get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste $100. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And guys, I'm not afraid to admit it. I was betting CU live. I was 100% betting CU live. It did not work out in my favor today, but at the end of the day, you can't win them all, like I said, to start the show. But be sure to check out our friends over at FanDuel. I think the FanDuel Sportsbook app is the best app for live updates. It's better than ESPN. It's better than Bleacher Report. I mean, if you want up-to-the-minute scores, be sure to check out our friends over at FanDuel. And again, you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet for new customers. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and let them know that Locked On Buffs sent you. Be sure to check out our friends over at FanDuel. And Go Buffs, baby. All right, well, come on back into your Locked On Buffs postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Buffs postcast, Locked On Nuggets postcast, and your Locked On Broncos postcast. Episode coming tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully the Broncos can have better fortune than the Colorado Buffaloes. But like I said, I mean, the rushing discrepancy, which is an absolute disgrace today for the Colorado Buffaloes. Travis Hunter did his thing, though, and I don't think this game has any implication on Travis Hunter's Heisman Trophy standing. He had a great game today, Travis. 8 receptions for 125 yards and 2 scores. I mean, Travis Hunter darn near made up the entirety of Colorado's attacking today. Let's see. Colorado finishes with passing yards 266, and Travis Hunter ends up with 125 of those receiving yards. So 8 receptions for Travis, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did his part today, but nothing really shaken for Colorado offensively outside of that. LaJohntay Wester had 4 receptions for 45 yards. Draylon Miller had 5 receptions for 44 yards. And that's essentially all she wrote today for Colorado's offense. Like I said, Shedeur Sanders was Colorado's leading rusher today with 4 carries for 26 yards. Isaiah Augusta, Dallin Hayden, unable to get anything going. Augusta, 2 carries for 11 yards. Dallin Hayden, 4 carries for 5 yards. I mean, that's just not going to win you any football games. I mean, again, Dallin Hayden, 4 carries for 5 yards. And I know it was his first game back from injury here today for the Colorado Buffaloes, but it's just not going to help you out at all. And it's unfortunate. Like I said, it feels like Colorado let a golden opportunity kind of flash by as they lose today to the Kansas Jayhawks. Your final score, 37-21. But guys, go ahead and drop the comments. Let me know what you guys think. And like I said, the season is not over by any stretch of the imagination. It's not over. It really isn't. But today is a day that is frustrating for Buff Nation. It's a game that Colorado was supposed to win that they were unable to win. And you look to the rushing discrepancy, you look to the time of possession discrepancy, and you wonder what went wrong. What was wrong with the game plan today? Playing in an NFL stadium, right? That's Coach Prime's whole memo is we're gonna get these guys ready for the next level, whether it's playing football or not playing football. And to lay an egg like you did today on national TV, it hurts. It really does hurt. So we'll see. One more game left in the regular season, at least. Obviously, they already qualified for a bowl game. But Colorado losing this afternoon, 37-21, your final score. They've got to beat Oklahoma State next week. That is an absolute given. And I think if they can do that, but now you're looking at a 2-loss Arizona State team, and you kind of wonder what is the ceiling for this team? What does the future look like? We're going to find out. It's up to the committee, though. And I think that's the most frustrating thing kind of in closing here for the Colorado Buffaloes is they had a chance to continue to control their own destiny. They win this game today. They win next week against Oklahoma State. Not only are you in the Big 12 championship game, but you got a good chance to be in the college football playoff. Now it's up to fate. That's the reality of it. So one more time, 37-21 your final score for the Colorado Buffaloes today, losing to the Kansas Jayhawks. Just outrushed, I mean, just a lack of toughness today. A lack of toughness. Kansas outgained Colorado 520 to 308. 331 rushing yards to Colorado's 42. Time of possession, 40-11 to Colorado's 1949. What else is there to say, folks? What else is there to say? 8-3, the Buffs record, 6-2 in the conference. Kansas improves to 5-6, 4-4 in the conference. Tip your cap. Jayhawks did what they were supposed to do. They come in and get the job done. But all right, folks, that is going to do it for me on tonight's episode of your Locked On Buffs postcast. Really appreciate you guys tapping in with me. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of any of your postcasts, Buffs, Broncos, Nuggets, all hosted by yours truly. Go ahead and follow me on social media at Media by AP. But the Buffs, unable to get the job done, we'll see what they can do next week against Oklahoma State. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night, folks. We'll talk to you guys next week on your Locked On Buffs postcast. Go Buffs, baby. It's always go Buffs despite today. Have a good one, folks.